Ai, e mihi ana kia koutou katoa. Tēnā koe, Joni, mō tō pōwhiri, for your invitation to speak today. Today I'm sharing, and I ka aroha ki ngā tangata katoa who have been asked to distill years and years of kaupapa into 10 minutes. He uaua tēnei mahi, engari. Haere tonu, because probably only got 9.5 minutes left. Te kaupapa o tēnei ahi ki ahau, listening, the underrated leadership skill. But before that, ko waio, he uri ahau no kai kohe ki te taha o tōku pāpa. He uri ahau no tumu te varovaro ki te taha o tōku māma. Tumu te varovaro is the Indigenous name for Rarotonga. Engari, tipu ake ahau kei Aotearoa, south side, and still live in Aotearoa. So thanks Matua Mike for always acknowledging south side. The seed for listening, the underrated leadership skill probably started at birth because I probably came out of the womb with a big ass waha. Ko au te mātāmua o tōku whānau. So for those of you that are the oldest in your whānau, you often are the ones that have to be the voice for everybody else. And that was put to the test this weekend at my nephew's 21st in the Gold Coast. I literally flew in for the birthday, and 2 seconds before I was about to have my next drink of water, my brother-in-law says, "Hey sis, can you do a speech?" 2 seconds before, so I got up and anybody who knows me, there's a few of you that have come to awhi me because I'm on the graveyard shift for this presentation, kia ora, but you know I have no trouble talking. So therein lies the challenge, right? So I chose a topic that I am the worst at, listening. So listening, the underrated leadership skill. Before I go into my next 7 minutes of kōrero, that took me like 5 years to study, I'm going to lay down our tuāpapa, our foundation. Whakarongo pikari. He kupu whakarite. It's a, what's the Pākehā word for kupu whakarite? Simile? He simile, metaphor, for listening. And so it refers to the baby bird in the nest listening out for his mama, his or her mama, and waiting for food. And so the whakatauki from Alvin Toffler, back in the day when I was a technology support person, the quote that I would help people that I used from Alvin Toffler was, the illiterate of the year 2000 will not be those that can't read and write, but those that can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. So today I'm inviting you in the 6 minutes I have left to unlearn some stuff around listening, right? And I just want to mihi to our amazing librarian, so what are you doing as part of your rangahau? When you learn some stuff, well, how are you applying that as you live? So me mihi ka tika ki a koe e hoa. To listen attentively, to listen out for something. And so Te Reo Māori is a beautiful language, and I was privileged enough to go to Te Wānanga Takiura last year to reclaim my language that was lost 2 generations ago. I also currently am what's our job title, Hani? So I started and the job changed 3 times on my mailer, so I can't keep up. But our role, so I work in Te Haumaranga, I have the privilege of working alongside Sid, Tamati, Hani Huata Ellen. She's actually the reason I took the job. Many of you know the story. Kata and Kiriana, and our role is to support whakangungu people, and our role is leadership development. Kione, my definition, it's my presentation, so my definition's going out there, is if you serve and influence others for the greater good, you're a leader. And so you might not have the title, but you have influence, and if you want to support others. And so my greatest privilege is helping serve people who serve others. I want you to take a beat in the mahi that we do to reflect and take a moment for you. And some of you have experienced the coaching sessions with me, but that's my jam. So coaching is my jam. And I learned when I was a coach/curriculum coordinator in Saudi Arabia that coaching is based on the premise that you're already awesome. You're already whole, and my role is to help you realize that. You know, this morning, Matua Taka was talking about potentiality. We all have potentiality. And so my role in coaching, what I teach in our webinars is listening, questioning, reflecting. Ko te mea nui kia hau is listening. And when we talk about rongo, and we talk about listening with all of our senses, I get that in coaching, and I want to infect the world with this art of listening, to unlearn some of the ways that we're listening today and to take on a new approach, or maybe a revitalized approach, because if you look at Indigenous spaces, we've always listened this way. We've always listened, a wairua, a tinana. And so reclaiming that knowledge and going into conversations where the mana is with other. And so today, my definition of listening, and I can tell you, there's like 75 plus definitions of listening. I don't know why we need that many, but this is the one I want you to take away. Listening is understanding the other's message as intended. As intended, because we make assumptions, and I'll talk about that, but understanding the other's message as intended. So this comes from my coaching practice. I knew I needed to get better at listening, not just within my teaching role or my coach role, but as a mama to teenagers who very rarely talk. I don't know, I was talking to a mama yesterday, they just grunt at some stage. But now my kids won't shush. So there are 7 practical strategies. I don't know if I'll make it to the end. I'll just let Joni be the judge of that if I get there. 7 practical strategies for listening. And that's how I want when we talk about rangahau, what difference does it make to the world? So I walk away with 7 strategies, and I'm going to whiz through them. Tuatahi, reflect on your listening. So take the bird's eye view of your last conversation. Te rapia was out there having kai. And think about how were you as a listener. And then I invite people, now, on a scale of 1 to 7, how would you rate yourself as a listener in your last conversation? So I'll invite you to do that now. Just put fingers up. Oh, tēnā koe. Thank you for your honesty, e hoa. 1. So put your fingers up in terms of how you would rate yourself. So I was talking to Benita. She's here. I reckon I was a 5. Because sis had some major drops for me, that conversation. So what you do when you reflect on listening, kia ora, 5, 3, oh, we got a 7 here. Maybe you want to take the presentation. Oh, kapai. You're still counting, kapai. So here's a trick, here's a hack. Ask somebody who's really good at giving you honest feedback and say, how do you think I am as a listener? Now, if they say 2, say thank you for the feedback, tuatahi, and then you ask them what's one thing I could do to get to a 3. Now, if they're really nice, because I know Benita would say to me, oh, you're a 7, sis. If they say 7, say, cool, tēnā koe, what's one thing I could get to an 8, right? We all can evolve. Mai te kōpu ki te urupā, we are always evolving. So how are you as a listener? Like, be honest with yourself, take the bird's eye view. So that's your step, that's practical step number 1. Tuarua, be where you are. And I can tell you this has been our saving grace this year in our team. We have a lot of kaupapa all the time. It doesn't stop. At mahi, but also in life. And be where you are is a tohu, to stop thinking about the shopping list, to stop thinking about the emails you didn't get, to stop thinking about what you didn't get or your Christmas list, but to be present in the moment. So he tohu, be where you are. But what this also is a gift. It's a gift to others. When you have lots of kaupapa on, and I'll use the scenario with Hani, she said, oh, I'm just going to be a little bit late to our webinar. I was like, kei te pai e hoa. She said, oh, I just got pulled in for this karanga. And I was like, oh, yeah, kei te pai. So I'm secretly watching on Facebook Hui Aomotu, which was the biggest at the time in our country of all kaihaka across the motu coming. And there I see Hani's back. And she's doing a karanga, probably the most important karanga in the world at that time. And I just messaged her, be where you are, he hoa. And that just gives us, and she's done it to me. Be where you are is like, be where you are. Acknowledge. Arongo. like listen to it with your senses and be there. And so how many times are we engaging in conversations and we're actually somewhere else? So be where you are is a gift to others, but to yourself. Learn from the people you're in the room with. And the kōrero we say is enter every conversation like you will learn something, and you will, right? Oh, ka pai. Acknowledge your bias. I have geographical bias. I grew up in Aotearoa. Anybody starts talking about Aotearoa in that tone, I get ready to fight. That's a geographical bias, but sometimes that gets in the way of our listening there. Because we want to, I don't want to fight. I just want to debate fight. But it gets in the way of our listening. Same as kapahaka groups, we all have our favorites. I'm not going to name mine because we have a judge in the room. But it gets in the way of our listening e te whānau. And so, one of the biggest ones was Whittaker versus Cadbury chocolate. No brainer, Whittaker's. But some people like Cadbury, so they're unfriended. I'll wrap up with this one. Ko te mea nui kia hau manaki. And the way I put this is consulting is an expert advice model. Counseling is a past challenges model. Coaching is an action goal-oriented practice. Therefore, for me, the mana always stays with the other person. As a coach, you already are awesome. I don't have to fix you. You're already fixed. But I might give you a beat out of your busy life to take a moment to think, to organize your thoughts, to breathe. From your busy lives. And so, manaki, tiaki te mana o tētahi atu tangata. Every time you insert yourself into the kōrero and bring your own experiences, you're taking the talking stick from your friend. Every time you offer a solution, you're saying, I know better than you. Yeah, you know from your lived experiences from your whakapapa, but you don't know their shoes. You don't know their whakapapa, the ins and outs of the life they've travelled. And so advice giving takes away mana as well. So tiaki te mana o tētahi atu tangata is like always. You have mana. I don't need to fix you. You're good. Let's just have a kōrero about how we can clarify some of that for you. So that's what coaching offers. I'm excited that I have the greatest team and the greatest upline. Is he in the room? Cool. But I do. I'm not even lying. He's real cool. That gives me the creative license to give this a go in a te ao Māori space. Right now, the growth cycle is the only model within any space, within education, within corporate. We need to shake that up. There needs to be other models that support our people and our worldview. Ka pai? Kia ora.